Happy Friday, everybody. How you doing? Hope you're having a great June 19th, Juneteenth. And, we're having the show because we do the show every day. But I think it's very important to note what an important day this is and for many and should be for all of us. So it's a day of reflection and a day of thought and a day of, in a way, celebration. So just want to say that to start the show, that this is Juneteenth and we cannot let today pass without a recognition of that very appropriately. Also, happy birthday, Mom. Today is my mother's birthday. She is 49 again, which is pretty interesting given the age of her son. So it's a miracle. So I hope you're having a great day, Mom. We'll talk soon. And hope everybody is doing great today. Brian, first in wins, you bet. Great to be with you this afternoon. I'm really glad that you're here. Thanks to everybody for joining. I got a good topic today. It's business focused, and we kind of alternate sometimes between a business focus and a personal focus and that. But today is a business focus. And Darcy, hope you're having a great Friday as well. Things are good in your neck of the woods, I hope. So all good here in Vegas. Today we're going to talk about ways to get your customers to come back for more. I think one of the I don't guess this frustrates me beyond all description. The first thing they should ever teach at any business course, I'm not talking about to get your MBA. I mean, if you take a business course in high school, if they did business courses in elementary school, which really wouldn't be a bad thing, right? Just to think about supply and demand and the economy and things like that. This should be it. The lifeblood of any business, the lifeblood of every business, is customers who come back for more and who refer you to their friends. That is the lifeblood of any business. So we're going to talk today about, I think, one of the most essential things in any business: 5 ways to get your customers to come back for more. And Charles, it's always great to see you, sunny Silicon Valley. Man, I hope you're doing great. By the way, I always mean to mention this, and then I click on somebody else's, but I'll mention the picture that you have and the sun behind it. I'm assuming it's sunset behind it. Oh my gosh, it's just the colors are just fantastic. Ken Grant, hey my friend, hope you're doing great on this Friday and things are good where you are. Bruce, yes, happy anniversary to the anniversary. I like that. It's the anniversary of Mom's 49th birthday today. That's a great way to put it. I'm going to share that with her when we finish the show here. Hey, Scott, it's always great seeing you. I hope you're having a great Friday as well. So how do you get customers to come back for more? Obviously, you got to be good at what you do. I mean, I'm laying the foundation here because these are things that should go without saying, right? If you're not good at what you do, why would they come back? It would be like a buffet with horrible food and somebody says, yeah, but it's all you can eat. I mean, last thing I want of bad food is more of it. So if the food isn't good, why would you go back to the buffet line for more when buffet lines existed? My point is, it should go without saying that you have to be really good at what you do. You have to deliver on your promise to your customers. That is the groundwork, okay? That's table stakes. So if you're not doing that, then you have a fundamental problem. Kit, that's a great observation. Many of the folks that would be teaching the course are not familiar with it. They need to learn before they teach, I guess. Yeah, you're exactly right. They don't have an understanding of that in many cases. And I think that's, it's chicken and egg. So how do we stop that cycle? There's got to be a way. But it bothers me. I heard somebody when they were commenting on the riots, and this isn't meant to be a social commentary at all, but they were saying, yeah, but you got to remember the stores have insurance, so it's no big deal. It'll be replaced. And it bothered me for that person because they didn't mean it maliciously. They just honestly thought, well, they didn't think through to the next step that the premiums will go higher and that the inventory has to be replaced and all of the things, that go on and on and on that would raise the prices that they pay at that store. And this whole thing about, well, insurance will pay for it. Well, who pays for the insurance? And so just some of these basic things about business, didn't mean to get off on that, but I think it's a really important thing. right? Just the basic things about supply and demand, and where does business come from? It comes from happy customers. All those things are things that everybody should know. Okay, so let's think about how we're gonna make sure that customers come back for more. And the model that I always love using, and I'm sure some of you can probably already guess this, but the model that I love using is when you look at a successful movie. I'm big into show business, as you know, and so the successful movie. If you took a look at things like the Marvel comic, the Avengers, for example. If you look at even older movies like Titanic or Avatar, when you look at them, what did they do in a highly competitive? I mean, movies come out all the time, and you compete with Netflix and with Hulu and with all the things that are out there, that Apple, that we can choose from. How do you have a hit movie? How do you make that work? And if we think about how they do that, and then consider how we might apply those principles to our business, then we can grow our business and have more customers for our business who repeat their business and refer us to others. So here's the first of the 5 ways. Let me jump on here. Titanic 2. Bruce, I interviewed James Cameron. It's funny you say that. And he said, now, can you picture, we were talking, he said, can you picture me selling the studio on investing in Titanic? I'm going to make this movie, and it's going to be the most expensive movie ever made, which it was at that time. And everybody knows how it's going to end before they even go see the movie. And there's no chance for a sequel, right? Can I have $200 million, please? Yeah, it's it was a heck of a sale, I'm telling you. Yeah, because there is not going to be a Rose for the next 20 years. Yeah, exactly. That's so good, Rita. And that's that's one of the great things about the sales job that he did that was worth it. And Rita, you're right. I mean, insurance doesn't cover everything, and it certainly doesn't cover the deductible, and insurance never covers everything. Hey, Charles, so the picture was taken by a young lady I met at my favorite place to look out over the Santa Cruz Mountains. Oh, man, that's gorgeous. It is just gorgeous. Okay, so here we go. Here's the first of the 5, and that's target your experience. All of this gets back to the experience that customers have. So if I have a bad experience, why would I want to repeat it? Why would I want to give you another chance? Why wouldn't I just take a chance with your competitor? Or why wouldn't I? And I'll go on Yelp and I'll absolutely lambast you. That's what happens when I get a bad experience today. And part of the reason I think that customers have bad experiences is because the organization, the company, the business, the salesperson hasn't targeted the right customer. You don't have to be all things to all people. Walmart isn't all things to all people. Try to buy cufflinks at Walmart. Try to buy a tuxedo at Walmart. Don't sell it. You know why? Because they have targeted. It's for people that want low prices every day. Target is for people that want competitive prices with more style. Right? I mean, we know the difference. I could blindfold you, walk you into a Target, pull the blindfold off, and you'd know exactly where you are. And not just because the color is red as opposed to Walmart blue. You would know just because there's a different feel. They have targeted different segments of the marketplace. Any successful company does that. Any successful business does that. Any successful sales professional does that. Who is your customer? There's a lot of talk in the social media world about the avatar. Now, not Avatar the movie, but that an avatar represents, a picture of. And one of the things that these courses try to teach you to do is to create an avatar of your ideal customer. So who is your ideal customer? What does that customer look like? What do they do? I mean, seriously, I'm not just saying what do they look like in terms of, well, they're between 35 and 65 and they make this. No, I mean, I really want you to think about a picture of a specific customer. A friend of mine that's a songwriter wanted to write a song for a particular country music singer. So she cut out a picture of that singer and put it on her piano. So as she was composing the song, she's thinking about hearing in her head the voice of that particular singer singing that song, because that was the avatar for the song, who ended up doing the song. So that's how precise we have to be. Who is your target? And for too many of us, and I've been guilty of this for years, it's one of the things I've been working on, one of the things that's helped our business grow. You got to be really precise with this. You've got to be exact about who do you seek to serve, because you cannot create an experience that's wonderful for everybody. Think about what Disney has done. Look, Disneyland and Disney World, those particular theme parks, you can go there and have a good time no matter who you are, but wouldn't you agree it's really geared as the happiest place on earth for kids? Now, adults might gravitate a little more to Epcot or to other aspects of what but think about how clearly, if you've got a 5-year-old, they're probably not going to love Epcot the way they love Disney World. Target your customer. Absolutely, precisely target them. And think about how movies, again, go back to the movie thing. Think about, there are movies that are made for the teen audience. There are movies that are made for the, adult audience to think about and talk about. There are targets for movies. There are, for lack of a better term, it's what it's called in the industry, chick flicks, that are targeted for a female audience. There are action pictures targeted for a male audience. Who's your audience? Be very, very specific about that. Now, once you've targeted the experience, now how do you set it up so that people will want to repeat the experience? When I interviewed James Cameron, part of what he told me was the success of Titanic was really based on one particular aspect that they wanted to create about the experience. And that is, once you saw the movie, you wanted to come back and see it again. And in fact, the second time you went to the theater to see the movie, you probably brought a friend. And he said the reason it became the #1 box office hit of all time at that particular time was that people not only would come see it, but they would bring their friends with them. They'd have little parties to see it again and cry about Rose and all that kind of good stuff. That's it's making the experience so good that your customers can't wait to repeat it. And you incentivize them and encourage them to repeat the experience. I've always scratched my head a lot about these businesses that offer such great discounts for new customers. I understand what they're trying to do is to get a customer in the door, but I often see those at places where I do business and think, wait a minute, I've been spending money with you for years, and now somebody that's never bought from you gets a better deal than I get? That's not incentivizing me to repeat the experience, especially if the offer isn't targeted, right? They just blast out there, hey, if you've never shopped with us, you get 30% off. Wait a minute, I've been buying from you for years. I don't get anything off. What's wrong with that? It's not incentivizing me to repeat the experience. What could you do right now to incentivize your current customers to come back for more? We need to be thinking about that. How can we incentivize our current customers to repeat that experience, to see the movie again, to do it again? That is planning for that. A couple nights ago, I watched John Wick 3. Have you seen the John Wick movies? It is absolutely graphic. It's like a video game graphic violence from beginning to end. But I dig it. I've interviewed Keanu Reeves. I was never a big Keanu Reeves fan until this. Holy crap, he's fantastic in these John Wick movies. So it's John Wick 3, and spoiler alert, right? Spoiler alert. I won't really go into detail in it, but here's how the John Wick 3 ends. Spoiler alert, but it's not giving away what happens during the movie. But the final line of the movie is one of the characters says to John Wick, "John, are you irritated?" The urinary word for irritated. And John Wick says, "Yeah," in the movie. in the movie. So you want to watch it again, you want to, it gets people to want to, it prepares us for the sequel. but it also gets us to want to watch it one more time, right? So, Charles, I appreciate that. Yeah, it's a way of thinking about it. Oh man, that does not surprise. They're great action movies, aren't they, Shannon? I love it. It's great seeing you too. By the way, thanks for being here. Yeah, that's right, Scott. And I'll even take it a step beyond that. My pal Tony Alessandra wrote a book many years ago called The Platinum Rule. And the Platinum Rule says, okay, look at the Golden Rule. The Golden Rule says, I'm going to treat you the way that I want to be treated. And he says it's beautiful philosophy. Every tradition, every religion has some form of that in it. But he said that assumes that you want to be treated the way that I want to be treated. And what if that's not the case? So he says, I'm not only going to treat you the way that you want to be treated. I'm not going to just treat. In other words, Scott, what he's saying is the Golden Rule is you come in my store and I'm going to treat you the way I want to be treated. He says you can take it a higher level even, which is really the spirit of the Golden Rule. And I'm going to treat you the way you want to be treated. And that's an incredible way to get customers to come back. Charles, you're right. It costs so much less to keep it and to get them to come back in that way. So yeah, they're incredible action movies. Did you like that, Kelly? The urinary word for I just made that up. I don't. I even say the other word in the book Iconic if you read that. So how do you get them to repeat the experience? Here's the next thing: get them to upgrade the experience. Upgrade the experience. So a lot of movies now have you know? I mean, when the theaters come back open and before they closed with the pandemic, did you notice that some movies would come out and you could see them in the regular theater, or you could upgrade the experience and see them in IMAX? Same movie, but you can choose to upgrade the experience. So it gets your customers to spend more on the product because there is a way they can upgrade. We've been part of virtual events that we've been attending. Shelley back in Indiana in our office there, and I here in Vegas have been attending these virtual events. Jeff Walker's product launch formula and Blue Melodic, Barry Baumgartner's program on the virtual event on virtual events. And this weekend with the program called Driven with Suzanne Evans. And, you know, I don't think it's going to be any secret that we have the Ultimate Business Summit coming up in August. And this is the first time I've ever said this, but I'm going to be doing a virtual event in October. And so I'm attending these events not only to learn, but also kind of observe. What do I like? What don't I like about how the virtual events are going? And one of the things that struck me is this is part of the pattern that is used at virtual events, you know? So it's this to register for the event. But if you want to upgrade the experience to VIP, then here are some special things that you will receive as a VIP. We're going to have a special debrief. We're going to have a lunch session with an outside speaker. Here are all these other things that you can do to upgrade the experience. So what do you do? I mean, it gives customers the choice to spend more money with you, is to upgrade the experience. So is there a way right now, if I'm doing business with you, that I could upgrade the experience, right? That I could upgrade the experience. If you really think about it, that's what made General Motors for many years the biggest company on the planet, is because you could buy a Chevy, but hey, you want to upgrade that? So a Pontiac, a Buick, an Oldsmobile. You really want to upgrade it? We got a Cadillac. I mean, it built on the same chassis, but a way to constantly upgrade the experience. So think about that. What's the Cadillac version of what you do? What's the way to upgrade what you're doing and making it possible? Okay, Charles, there's the example, right? You could have seen the movie 1917, which I have not seen. I really need to see that. You could have seen the movie 1917 in the regular theater, just watched it on the screen, but you paid more to have the reclining seat and the IMAX. It's so big, and I bet that was incredible there. Hey, Rita, thank you. I kind of spilled the beans there. Shelley's going to kick my tail for doing that, but yeah, we are working. The Ultimate Business Summit will be in August, and we're going to have a standout earn more session coming in October that I'm really, really excited about. So I'll have more info on that for you later on. Okay, so then the next thing is expand the experience. expand the experience. How do you take that experience and expand it? And part of what I talked about, this is from the Taxi Terry book that I did, is that, okay, so now that I've seen it, right? Now that I've seen your movie, isn't it fascinating that many of the sales of DVDs, when, Blockbuster and all that was hot, and now many of the rentals for streaming movies are people that have already seen the movie. They want to see it again. Or they buy a DVD of the movie that they liked. Or here was the way they expanded the experience. Oh, now you can watch the director's cut. Or we would watch the movie and you could hear the director saying, now when we shot this scene and da-da-da-da-da, the movie that I had a chance to act in many years ago, there is the DVD came out with a director's cut. And I couldn't wait to get it to hear what he said during my scenes. Like, oh, this guy was terrible, whatever. He was very, very nice. And it got me interested in the director's cuts. And I kind of became a junkie of that. You take a movie like Tombstone is one of my favorite films of all time. And you go back and you hear the characters talking about, well, when we shot this, then this was, and it's so cool, but it was a way to expand the experience. So now think about what they have done. They have targeted me as an audience. So I'm predisposed to like it when I go in. I repeated it because I love, Tombstone for me. It's like to this day, if I'm flipping channels and it's on, I'm done. I'm done. I'm watching it. It doesn't matter. I've memorized it. Got to see it again. All right. So that's repeating the experience. Upgrading the experience, right? It might be, go on Apple right now. You can buy the high definition or you can buy 4K. Do you want this definition of the film or do you want to upgrade the experience, right? Now expand the experience. Go get the director's cut. Go find, these are all, notice it's still just the same basic product. It's just finding different ways to get your customer to do more. Hey, Weldon, great to see you. Yeah, always offer more products or simply the upgrade. Can we monetize the same as if it were in a live in-person event? Yeah, I mean, that's a great question. How do we find ways to get them to upgrade the experience? People are always looking for something behind the scenes. For example, a BMW or a Porsche or whatever, you can go pick it up and drive it in Germany for a while and they ship the car to you here in the US. Talk about an upgraded experience, right? Or with Porsche, you could take delivery at the Porsche centers in Georgia or California. And so you get your car, you get it there, and then there are performance drivers that show you, the things about your car that you may never use in terms of the braking or skidding or all that. And it's a way to upgrade it in an incredible manner. So it takes a degree of creativity. It takes a degree of thinking. But part of what we do here is what psychologists call transpositional thinking, putting it in another position. So whatever your product is, you might think, okay, so if Hollywood was doing this, releasing this, how would they do it different than what I am? If this was a Porsche instead of my product, how would they find ways to upgrade that experience? Yeah, most of the time. I like how you said that, Rita. Shelley likes it most of the time. That's good. Yeah, Charles, I'm your Huckleberry man. Oh man. And see, I was never a Val Kilmer fan. I was never a Val Kilmer fan. But I'm telling you what, in Tombstone, he is as good as it gets. So expand the experience. The things like the director's cut or taking delivery at a typical, or all of that is a way to take the current experience and expand it in new and exciting ways. And then here's the final one that you probably guessed already, and it's extend the experience. It's the sequel, right? The way John Wick ends makes you want to go back and watch the same thing again and repeat the experience, but it also incentivizes you that you can't wait for John Wick 4 and extend the John Wick experience. So the sequel, the repeat business, the continuing engagement, the subscription, the membership, those are all ways that the experience is extended. So what are ways that you can get folks more involved on an ongoing basis? It's interesting. Volvo right now is not using the term lease. You don't lease a Volvo now. The term that they're using at their dealerships is you subscribe to Volvo. I don't know if you've seen, but Porsche is doing subscriptions now. And you can change. Now, the Volvo is you subscribe to a particular car. So they're replacing the word lease with the term subscribe, because then your subscription is up and you turn the car in and then you might get another subscription. Porsche is actually doing subscriptions. So for, I think it's like $2,500 a month, you can drive a Boxster, or you can drive a Panamera, or you can drive a Cayenne or a Macan, and you can change that as much as you want. You get 2,000 miles a month, and that flat rate covers insurance, it covers license, it covers, and so if you've got family coming over for the weekend, you say, hey, I need the Cayenne, the SUV, and boom, they bring it to your driveway. And so you drive it for the weekend and say, hey, man, we're going to do something really sporty, my wife and I. Can we get a Boxster convertible? Boom, there it is. And they pick up the Cayenne. It's a subscription. It's a way to extend the experience. What's the sequel? What would get people to come back? What is the way that you would get people to do more and more with you? So let's review it, because you can do this with any product, with any service, with anything that you're doing. And that is number one, target. Create an avatar. Who specifically are you going after? Second, how do you create an experience so compelling that your customers can't wait to repeat it? Maybe even bring their friends and refer it, but most importantly, they repeat it. What are their options to upgrade it? Can you take that and upgrade it? Apple does it. You know how they do it? Apple Care. But if you'd like to upgrade so that it's Apple Care, and obviously we got a faster chip, or we got more memory, or there's always ways you can upgrade the experience. Next, expand the experience. What are some inside things? Like what would your director's cut be? Or how could you take people behind the scenes? One of the most expensive tickets at Disney is the one where they take you behind the scenes. They take you underground at Disney World and show you where the employees work, and they show you what's backstage to even impress you more about what's upstage. And it's a way that they can expand the experience and serve corporate customers. What are ways that you could expand your experience? And then finally, how do you set it up so they want to extend it? They want the sequel. In other words, it's not just repeating business with that current product, but they are so engaged with the experience that you have that they want the new version of it. They want the next thing that you bring out. People talk too much about Apple, but is there anybody better at this, right? Oh man, you love our Macs? Well, you're really going to love the phone. Oh, you like the phone? Wait till you get our watch. And have you seen the news? Apple now is working on Apple glasses, even though it didn't really work for Google, because now you're going to be able to get your Apple glasses with prescription lenses. And, it's supposed to be something that they're going to be revealing in the next year or so, according to the rumor mill. So they're finding ways to extend the Apple experience beyond what their customers can currently receive. So again, it is target, and then how do they repeat it? How do they upgrade it? How do they expand it? And then how do they extend it? Doing any of these, but especially when you do all of these, it brings greater profitability to your business and to you. And it does it for us on a Friday. I hope you have a fantastic weekend. As usual, we'll be here with abbreviated versions of the program of Daily Distinction on Saturday and Sunday. I hope you can catch up with us then. And by the way, thank you. I mean, so many of you folks are so kind, and you share this, and I cannot thank you enough. If you haven't been sharing it, would you please do so? You've heard me say so many of our viewers are folks that watch on repeat. And why does that happen? It's because they see that you've shared it, so they watch the program on repeat. So please do that. I would really, really appreciate that. Thanks. I appreciate it, Charles. Always great seeing you and everybody else that's here. I'm so grateful for you. Thank you, Kelly. I appreciate that.